Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, has been officially sacked by Number 10. She was asked to leave government by Rishi Sunak this morning, and she has accepted. That is what Number 10 are telling us. Obviously, this reshuffle, we were told just moments ago, has started within Downing Street. We should be seeing ministers coming up and down the famous Number 10 street within minutes, I'm sure. And obviously, it's going to be, all eyes on whoever is going to be replacing Suella Braverman after those controversial comments she made to the Times newspaper last week. Number 10 then admitted that they were not authorised by them. They were not signed off. She basically was freelancing. She went quite far in that very, very punchy article where she accused the Met Police of being biased.
Often controversial, rarely understated, Suella Braverman's rise to one of the great offices of state was not always a smooth affair. Visiting Rwanda to promote the government's asylum plan, migration was a frequent focus.
I would love to be having a front page of the Telegraph with a plane taking off to Rwanda. That's my dream.
A minister often prepared to say what colleagues would not.
It's the coalition of chaos. It's the Guardian reading, tofu eating, wokarati, dare I say, the anti-growth coalition.
Born Sue Ellen Fernandez, named after the character from the TV show Dallas, scandal emerged at Cambridge University with allegations of vote rigging while she was president of the Conservative Association. Not the first of her family to run for office, her mother stood for Parliament in 2003. An NHS nurse, she arrived in the UK from Mauritius in the late 60s, while her father fled Kenya and worked in factories and offices. First elected in 2015 after qualifying as a barrister, the future Home Secretary and Brexit supporter rose through the right-wing Tory ranks, eventually joining the Cabinet in 2020 as Attorney General. A year later, she became the first cabinet minister to formally take maternity leave after a change in the law. But just 9 months after returning to government, she was calling for Boris Johnson to resign, announcing her intention to run for leader before the then Prime Minister had even said he would be leaving.
The die is cast, the writing's on the wall, and it's the end.
After being knocked out of the leadership race, Suella Braverman was named Home Secretary by Liz Truss. But following tension about migration...
Are you divided with the Prime Minister over immigration and the top-rated tax?
No, not at all.
She was forced to resign over data breaches, leaving with a swipe at the direction the government was taking.
Liz Truss need to leave today. Does she need to step aside today?
I made myself clear in my letter. I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Her time on the backbenches lasted just 6 days. After Liz Truss's government imploded, she was controversially reappointed Home Secretary by Rishi Sunak, and apparently given licence to use inflammatory and divisive language.
The British people deserve to know which party is serious about stopping the invasion on our southern coast and which party is not.
Despite the strong words, attempts to stop people arriving in small boats have not been without problems. Legal challenges held up the Rwanda asylum scheme, while migrants had to be moved off a barge in Dorset after Legionella bacteria was found. Never far from an argument, eye-catching comments about child grooming, homelessness and multiculturalism all gave a sense of a minister who couldn't be controlled, as did her row with the police over the Gaza protests.
There's only one way to describe those marches. They are hate marches.
Now one of a growing number of former Home Secretaries, many suspect this ambitious politician of prepping the ground for a future Tory leadership bid. Whatever the truth, this is likely not the last we'll see of Suella Braverman.
Suella Braverman has been sacked as Home Secretary. She's not been offered another role in the Cabinet and will return to the backbenches. It follows her controversial comments criticising the police over the pro-Palestine march on Saturday and her suggestion that living homeless on the streets is a lifestyle choice. It comes as part of a wider reshuffle of Rishi Sunak's top team.